Otafest listeners, it is episode 8, season 8, episode 196 total. That means we're only 4 away from episode 200 of your Otafest podcast.
Wow.
That's
200.
a lot of episodes.
That's a big number.
I didn't know if we'd ever get here. We still might not. It's still at
That's
least
true.
3 away. So who knows what could happen.
What
It's
if
not
the world
impossible.
ends within the next month?
It could happen. You don't know.
With me are the wonderful and amazing and eclectic
You're
and
really
beautiful
building us up there.
Angelo
I don't know if we can live up to
and
these expectations.
Dio.
I just work here.
Kono Dioda.
Kono dio da des.
And also me. But then there is a void. The void of Nancy.
Where Nancy?
I hear that there are several voids in Nancy's mouth.
Did she died?
She's given up the mouth.
Oh, her mouth died.
Yeah, her mouth died, which is a real shame because that'd be a moneymaker for her.
Pain. No more
Yeah.
voice acting?
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
No, that's not true. She
An injury. Owie.
she has a mouth injury.
As soon as it heals up, it'll be fine.
And flapping the mouth
Yay.
is the difficult for her.
So thus
So-
we have no Nancy.
Yeah.
Nancy's been
Ah.
having a really, really bad day today. So everybody, engagement challenge, comment and spill your love for Nancy.
Yeah, tell Nancy how much you love and appreciate her, or I will show up in your kitchen at 3 a.m. and I will bang all of your pots and pans.
You are the goblin.
It is not a request. I am telling you what you must do. Accept the assignment, Private. Complete the mission.
Before we get too ahead of ourselves, do a quick announcement, which would be the Saturday, 5th of November, 2022, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Join Otafest as we celebrate the supernatural with a yokai themed night festival. That's the sound of a snuffly yokai right there. Tickets are available on site for $15 and will include your very own yokai themed lantern, which you can use to take part in our lantern lighting ceremony, then take home as a souvenir. There will be presentations and panels happening both indoors and outdoors, as well as a small exhibitors hall. Check out the event details via facebook.com/Otafest.
Ooh, spooky.
Yokai.
Mystical creatures of lore and
It's
yore.
spooky. Yeah. And the little snuffly yokai demon in Angelo's
Yeah,
lap
there's definitely
spoke up.
She definitely did not just go huff huff
She did.
right in the middle of the ad
She,
read.
she just blew the house down.
She huffed and she puffed and she blew the house down. But yeah, it's Halloween time. That's my favorite time of year.
It is the week of the spoop.
It is the week of the spook.
Yeah.
It's also I like Halloween as well because Halloween time means it's my birthday time.
Hell yeah.
And so Halloween is the best time of year because it's also when my birthday is.
Birthday.
Birthday-o.
Got any plan?
I do. I get to be 1 year older.
That's planned?
And I know. I actually did plan to age this year.
For me, that's an
She's been
accident.
working on that for the whole year.
I have been. I've been cooking that one I've been cooking that one for 11 months, and now it's finally ready. But I do plan. I'm taking some time off of work.
Yo.
So I'm gonna have
Treat
a
yourselves.
6-day weekend, and I have a bunch of very good friends are coming up from the U.S. of A.
America.
to come hang out with me. We're doing sort of like a combined Friendsgiving because Thanksgiving was a while ago, but a combined Friendsgiving and
Nice.
Dio birthday. So it's going to be, extra special because, I always liked having parties for my birthday as a kid because, who doesn't love Halloween? And since I am very close to Halloween, it means every year I got to have a dress up party.
Heck yes.
And given that I like cosplay, well,
What?
you see, that's just the perfect combination for me. So this year I get to spend Halloween and my birthday with a bunch of friends. It's gonna be real good. I'm really excited. I'm making it the best birthday ever.
Are you dressing up?
Of course.
Is it secret or can you share?
Oh no, it's not a secret. So I always struggle with Halloween costumes because the thing about Halloween is it's like the one day a year where like everybody is allowed, like the whole world is your convention.
True.
So everybody's allowed to cosplay. But then I have a really hard time because, you know, when I go to an anime con, I want to dress up as an anime character or like a video game character or like some kind of Japanese media character. When I go to like a video game related event, like a tournament, I want to dress up as a video game character.
Makes sense.
Typically, if it's, you know what I mean? But with Halloween, you know,
You can be anything.
You can be anything, but I tend to want to be some generic thing, like, you know, like a generic creature. I want to be like something.
A sussy boy sounds too specific.
That's-
You gotta be more generic.
No. That's
I tend to
the
wanna
that's the
be
name
like-
of the Spirit of Halloween version of the
Sussy
costume. It'll just be
boy.
like Sussy Boy or, you know, like
Sussy
Italian
boy.
Oh my
plumber
God,
man.
Yes.
But I always want to be like, you know, a werewolf, a vampire, like, you know, but I'm like, but I don't want to put in effort to be a vampire or a werewolf. So this year, I'm just going to wear my cosplay. I'm just going to wear my Raiden Shogun Genshin Impact cosplay and just have fun. And people will be like, oh, you're some, like, it's a kimono. And I'll be like, yeah,
Sure is.
And I'm dressed up as a video game character, and they'll be like, "Okay, I get it," and I'll be like, "Thank you."
I saw an image of a new Halloween costume for this year.
Okay.
The Scene Girl.
I did see
What?
that. I saw.
The early 2000s
No.
are finally dress-upable as a costume.
That's not a costume.
It's
That's my
come
cult.
back.
No kidding.
It's
not
come
my cult.
back to haunt us all. It is mine. I was like, oh no, my past at long last has come
Yeah.
back to haunt me specifically.
True.
Like it had the blonde streak through
Yeah.
black hair. It had the swooped up spiked hair.
The
It had
stripy
the
shirt.
stripy shirts. It had the excessive colorful bangles. It had the makeup.
It had everything. I was just.
And that's like halfway to being a Homestuck character.
It really, you know, it is really scary
I mean, Homestuck was around that
Yeah.
time, so
I know.
how aligned those things are, and I never thought of that until you planted the seed in my brain, and now I'm never gonna be
Yep.
able to let it go.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this year I'm just gonna be my video game anime character for Halloween. Last year I tried to be Medusa. I had this really cool idea. So the problem with my Halloween costumes is I come up with the concept in advance, but then I don't want to actually spend a bunch of time and execute on it. And so by the time the week of Halloween comes around, I don't have enough time to make the things to execute the way I want. And so then it doesn't work out. And I'm just like, this isn't, it's fine, but it's not what I wanted.
That's fair.
So now I'm just like, you know, I know how to execute on my cosplays, so I'm just going to wear those. And thankfully, I was really worried because, you know, I was trying to, you know, when you start a new job, you always have to try and get an understanding of what is the culture of my workplace. Some places are very much like, yeah, it's Halloween, dress up. Other places are like, yeah, Halloween's a thing, but don't do that. Don't just
Yeah, wear little cat ears if you want. But,
if you want to,
if you
but
show
wear
up
your
in-
work
yeah.
uniform. If you show up in makeup and shit or weird clothes, like you're gonna go home. So I don't know what my workplace was like, and thankfully Halloween is on a weekend, and it's during
Well,
my birthday vacation.
yeah.
It's also during my birthday vacation, so I'm not gonna be finding out this year.
That's
But
right.
I was just like, so many of my coworkers, including my boss, know that I'm a cosplayer, and so they were joking. They're like, you have to have the best costume in the office, and I'm like, I don't want to play that game because what if I'm the only person in the office with a costume, and then I just win by default? I don't want
You know
that.
what you need to do is do the Japanese
Uh-huh.
costume which is like in Japan they do celebrate Halloween, but not in the way that
We
Westerners
do,
do. Like they
yeah.
dress up. They do dress up.
It's more like partying and
Yeah.
and
Like
stuff.
they don't really do trick or treating. But the other thing that they do, they've gotten kind of meta with the costumes. I've mentioned this before, I think, on podcasts. Maybe I mentioned it last year. What they do is they'll be like, let's say it's your work uniform, right? It'll be like office lady who hasn't had enough sleep the night before because she went drinking. So it'll be like mostly her office clothes, but she looks a little bit more disheveled. Her hair is kind of messy.
Yes.
She's like purposely dressed up with like some bags under her eyes as for makeup.
Yes, I love
And then there's
that
like a little
stuff.
sign around her, and then like it actually just lists out like the hungover office lady who's coming into work anyways after a long night of drinking. Like
Yes, like meta costumes like that are so funny. Like those are so good. So I did check. I did check to see when Halloween was this year because I was like, oh, if I do have to, come up with a costume to wear at work, I was like, I'm gonna come up with something that's work appropriate but still like good if I have to do it. Now, thankfully, I don't have to do it because it's during my vacation, so I will save the idea in my back pocket for next year to implement on. But my idea was I was like, I want to do something that's normal, that normal people will recognize, but that, is subtly work appropriate. And so my idea was, it's kind of a mix of the meta idea and the traditional idea. So, you have the late night worker, right? The moonlight dev. Right, the guy who comes in the office and he's crunching on code, and so he's in there until the moon's up, writing code. So I was like, well, what if it's the full moon dev?
oh, I see. Like where, like
so
a where
I have my aware dev.
Got you.
So I was like, oh, so I'm gonna dress up in like my nice business casual clothes, but I'm gonna have like long, extra long nails. And I figured I would put some like cat eye contacts in, and I would have my hair all fluffy and just hide some wolf ears in there, right? And then have like, wolfy sideburns that are like, it's a little bit too long. And then maybe have like a little clip-on wolf tail.
If you were a
Fair.
dude, you could do a version of that where it's like the neck beard is the fur that comes in.
Oh, no. Oh my god.
The absolute call
When-
out.
Not gonna lie, when Dio said subtly work appropriate, I was like, what? What does that even
Right?
mean? Is that, her boss comes over and says, that's not work appropriate at all. We have to take you to HR. Or is it work appropriate?
No, I just meant like I want to wear something where like it's very obviously a Halloween costume, so that people aren't like, oh my god, what the heck are you wearing? Right? Because
The Wicked Witch of HR.
oh my god, that would definitely that would be a way to get in trouble. But you know what I mean? Like if you show up to work and you're very clearly a vampire, a zombie, like everyone knows what that is. If I show up to work in my Genshin Impact cosplay, first of all, some of those female characters got very short skirts. Maybe not quite.
Oh, true. No,
maybe
like
not
Genshin
quite
characters?
Oh, yeah.
business
Absolutely not.
casual. And then for other anime characters, it's like, what the heck are you dressed up as? Like, unless you dress up as like Sailor Moon, most people are like, I don't know what you're dressed up as, and then it's a little awkward.
You know what you could do? And you could have an executioner's hood and a big axe, wear a suit, and you could be the chief executive officer.
I love
actually pretty
that. That's so.
That's a free one for anybody listening.
Oh my god, that's a cheat.
Putting that out into the universe for anybody else.
Yes.
That's a pretty good one, I gotta say. That's like you'll have to explain it a little bit like every time, but then when they hear it, they're like,
the
"Wow."
chief executive officer.
It's true.
I am in charge of executions.
But it'd be really good.
It would be great.
It would. I like that. Those are some good Halloween ideas. I like this. See, this is why it's my favorite time of year. You get all kinds of spooky stuff. And speaking of spooky stuff, there's an attraction
A
happening.
gasp, an attract
Yeah.
New Horizons
in
Mall
your local area.
finally has something inside of it.
To be fair, they have had stores for a while now.
They have had
For
stores.
years.
Not that I've been
Nope,
there
never been.
to see them. I've never been, but this year they're doing like a haunted maze type of thing in their parking garage.
Yeah.
So a couple friends and I are hoping to get some tickets to go check it out and see if it's any fun. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of funny because it's just like they're like, yeah, you can go check out the maze and you can enter through the parking garage, or while the mall is open, you can enter through the mall. You can go do some shopping. And I'm like, I forgot that mall is no longer. I remember that mall was huge on YouTube for being empty.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the biggest news, was that there were no tenants in that mall. But apparently there are tenants now.
That's the thing. Because it's getting no media coverage, that probably means that people have moved in and there's actually stores there.
Yeah, there's
Which is
probably actual stuff now.
Kind of disappointing in a way.
It was kind of cool that it was just this big open concrete and glass space that you could freely roam around in.
Yeah.
But I guess if you want to go to an empty mall, there's still Northland Mall.
Dude, that place is cursed.
It is that is
I don't
a
even
mall.
understand why it's so bad. Like
Imagine a
I
mall-
don't know the workings of it, but I assume it has to be due to like bad property management or something like that, because it's in a fine area to have a mall.
Yeah, like it's in a fine enough location that it should. I think the biggest thing is it doesn't have a good anchor store. Like
True, that
think
is
that's
actually
the
a
thing,
part
'cause,
of like mall economies.
Like that's a big reason if
Oh,
you are,
yeah.
especially nowadays, because like the thing is, when I was a kid, I remember that you would go to the department store and like say you go to like Deerfoot Mall, right? The whole part, the big thing about going to Deerfoot Mall is you can go to all these little shops and stores and pick out something here or pick out something there or spend a day shopping. But like the big thing was there was the Walmart, right? Like that was at the time, that was the closest Walmart to my house. So you could go and do all your shopping for your electronics and your a couple of clothing items, like maybe you're missing a couple pairs of Hanes socks. You could get some groceries. You could get some housewares. You could get some stuff for your car, and you could do it all at once.
Chinook is the exact same way, having the movie theater as a anchor tenant.
Yeah, it has the movie theater, but it also has
Apple Store.
It has a couple of.
It's got like
the Apple Store.
the
It has
fancier.
the Hudson's Bay.
It's got the fancier.
Hudson's Bay is a big one.
It's got the Tesla store, I think, maybe still, or maybe not. I
Yeah,
don't know.
the Tesla store was there.
Yeah, Burberry.
Last time we went to Northland Mall, while it was still actually a mall, we went there for Fabricland, and they were just like, I think it was around lunch, so it was like, well, should we check out the food court, see if there's anything to eat here?
Yeah.
And we were just walking through it, and literally 2/3 or half the stores were empty, and it was just so crazy. And I have to imagine that when The Last of Us did filming at Northland Mall, they just walked in and it was like, wait a minute, when did the set designers get here? It's already a disaster zone.
It's already empty. But that is the thing, is like, I think Northland Mall hasn't had an anchor store in a while and still doesn't. Like, because like the big anchor stores there would have been the Best Buy and
Future Shop.
Best Buy, Future Shop, and
Walmart, maybe, which
maybe
is there still?
well, no, is the Walmart still there? Oh yeah, the Walmart is still there. Best Buy, like your Best Buy, Future Shop, your Walmart, and like maybe your Fabricland, because that's like your Fabricland, which is across from the Winners. But the thing is, Winners isn't really like a big, like, it's a department store, but department stores aren't really a destination anymore. Like, people no longer go shopping at the department store because you can get a better deal ordering directly online.
True.
You might go to an electronics focused store if you're looking for a specific thing that that you can find in store and it's more convenient. But for a lot of things, like for a lot of big electronic purchases, nowadays it's like, because there's things like Instacart and there's DoorDash delivery, it's like you go to whichever grocery store is closest to you. And if the closest grocery store to you is Walmart, you go to Walmart and you get your groceries and then you go home. You don't get your groceries and then go shopping. Or like you don't go shopping and then go get your groceries.
So basically, Northland Mall died because malls suck.
Yeah.
New Horizons Mall sucks for a very different reason. In traditional mall business methods, business operations, they're kind of like an apartment complex in that they rent out to every store.
Yeah.
New Horizons Mall tried to do something different. If I'm comparing a regular mall to an apartment complex, New Horizons Mall is more of like a condo complex where every single store gets to buy their lot.
Buy their
gets
unit.
to buy their unit.
And pay more of
Which
a
is-
condo
it's a-
fee as opposed to a rental fee.
A rental
Yeah.
fee. Which is it's a very interesting concept.
But
right.
the
But
problem
there's
was,
a big problem with this.
Yeah.
Go
malls are already dead.
It's also placed right beside a very large mall that's already in the area in Crosshair.
ahead. That already exists.
New Horizons
Yeah.
was also supposed to be like an Asian themed mall where it was like Asian cultures. But the thing is, I don't know of that many Asians that live in that sort of area.
that are gonna
And
drive
there's already
there.
and there's already established Asian
Malls for
community malls that are like in
Yeah.
certain areas of the
And
city.
Asian community stores,
Exactly.
too.
Yeah,
So it's
like-
not that big of a it's not like they were serving an underserved population. They were like, maybe there's more Asians.
We're gonna
in
join
here.
the market. Well,
Not even
this is
joking,
the
like,
thing.
if they have to be outside of the city the way they are, putting it right beside Crossiron Mills isn't actually as bad of an idea as you would think. People are already driving over there, so if you've got to put it somewhere outside the
I
city,
have never
put it
been.
somewhere
I've
people are
never
already
been like,
driving.
I'm going to a mall. I want to go to another mall today, unless I'm
That's the biggest
specifically
thing.
looking for something. But that's a different
Yeah.
thing. But if you're just sort of going to the mall to go to the mall, I've never been like, I want to go to two mall.
there are, there's Pacific Place Mall in the Northeast. There's a bunch of TD markets in the Northwest and the Southwest that, kind of serve as your Asian grocery and home goods stores. And then there's also like most of Chinatown and Dragon City Mall, which is mostly focused on East Asian grocery and shops and this kind of thing. But the big thing that New Horizons Mall was supposed to have was going to be Daiso Canada.
Oh yeah.
Which would have been a big thing because Daiso is a very supremely popular Japanese brand. Basically like the Japanese version of Dollarama, but with way higher quality products.
I was also just hoping that they would. Oh, if they had a Don Quixote, a donkey. You
Well,
guys
it
don't
would
know
have been-
donkey
it would
yet,
have been
But you
s-
will.
Yeah, I know what Don Quixote
Yeah.
is. Yeah. But it's that kind of thing where it's it's low cost but really high quality value.
And
so-
lots of variety. Shoppers Drug Mart, but
and
on
lots of
steroids.
variety of stuff. And yeah, exactly. And so and people were really excited for that because right now the only Daiso that exists is in Vancouver. So it was always a joke that when people from Alberta go over to Vancouver, that's when they go to
It's
Daiso and
true.
they bring all of their Japanese goods back because you can't go to Daiso in Alberta. So this would have been the first Daiso location in Alberta, and it would have been a good foundation of the store or of the mall in total, right? You're coming all the way out there to go to Daiso, you might as well look at the rest of the mall while you're there. But then Daiso kind of said, we don't really want to do it. We don't want to launch a store here. And we don't want to launch the store with this purchase model. So we're out. So the thing is, if you get a lease, typically your lease will be 1 year, 2 years.
Not in retail.
In
In retail,
most.
you're looking like 5 to 8 year leases.
Well, and this is what I'm.
Where
No.
breaking your lease could cost you like $500,000.
I
Yes,
think it depends on the type of venue. Like
it depends
if
on
it's
the
like
type
if
of
it's like a
venue.
booth
Yes.
in the middle of the hallway, it'll be different from a store, and a store will be
Yeah.
different from a big box store. So it goes on
Yeah.
and on.
Like typically your minimum lease, like if you're lucky, the lease you'll get is like a 1 to 2 year lease. But on average, you'll probably get a 5-year lease to
But
start.
not a lot of stores or
minimum.
companies can really afford
Retail
the
leases
purchase
are
price.
long and expensive.
Yes, they're long and expensive, but that's why I'm saying like your typical minimum lease will be about 5 years. And if you're starting a new business and the statistics of the chances of you failing with 2 to 5 years is if you're not one of the 30% who succeed, then you probably feel safer taking a 5-year lease than buying
A whole heckin' property.
Buying a whole
Yeah, for
property
sure.
and hoping that when you go out of business, you're going to be able to resell
Exactly.
it. We kind of talked, Angela and I kind of talked about this offline, but the thing is, when you're buying a home, for example, one of the pieces of advice that you'll typically hear from people when it comes to buying a home is you should intend to stay in your home in that
the
home
rest
that
of
you
your
purchased.
life.
Well, typically, or for it like as long as
Yeah.
possible. And even then, so the advice is generally speaking, you probably won't make a profit on your home until 10 years have passed. Yeah. And so in general, the aim is if you plan on moving within the next 5 years, you should not buy a home. Because if you buy a home, you should aim, if you want to just go even, you should aim to hold on to it for at least 5 years or more, preferably more. I have to imagine that in retail, it's probably similar, but even longer. Like you should aim to hold the building for like 10 years.
I did not think we would become an economics podcast, but that's what we just did for the
Right?
last 10
We're
minutes.
an economic podcast.
And this whole time, all I've been thinking about is how poetic it is to be putting a haunted house,
in New
stuffing it
Horizon
into
Mall.
the shambling corpse of capitalism.
Yeah, well, what is a haunted house, traditionally speaking, other than like it's that abandoned house on in the end of the street,
In the
kind
middle of
thing,
nowhere, right?
Right? So it's sort of it is
kind
sort
of
of
fits.
fitting.
It is sort of
It's
fitting.
very
We brought it
fitting.
back.
It really
Poetic.
is. That this kind of abandoned mall in the middle of nowhere. It's in Balzac, Alberta.
Balzac.
Yep. And it's gonna have a haunted house in it that you could go and explore in the parking garage with, with all the scary actors and the lights and the music and stuff. So I want to check it out more than I
Yeah.
want to crunch the numbers on whether or not buying a space in that building is worthwhile or not.
Yeah. I don't know how many people are going to stick through the economics part.
I'm so sorry. We're old. I did say it was my birthday. I'm aging. I care about money and house plans.
How much are the tickets for that? Do you remember?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
I probably won't go, but I was
it's
just
put
it's
on
just
by
curious.
Haunted Calgary.
Because
It's put on by Haunted Calgary. So if I had
is that like
to
the
guess,
same as
maybe
like Screamfest type people?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I like horror, but I am just someone who does not get startled easily at all or scared easily. Like I don't care about snakes or bugs or bats or moths or there's very few things that get
So
me.
you're not going to be scared.
Yeah, like I don't care about clowns. I basically don't have a fear that is easily
exploited.
I do have
yeah.
one fear, which is like I have a fear of heights, but believe it or not, they're not gonna put like a fear of heights simulator
they're not going to put
in
a
fucking
drop tower in
Exactly.
there for you to
And-
stand
and
and
my-
look down
and-
30
and I
feet.
know like my exact like type of fear is for a fear of heights is not like height necessarily. It's like height plus instability. Like I don't like
Yeah.
it. Like I don't like
Have you been on some like the suspension bridges in the
I
Badlands?
don't hate suspension bridges that much. I don't like gondolas because gondolas are just
Okay.
on a cable.
They're in the air, they're
Yeah, and I
on the
kinda-
cable, and they're very
Yeah,
wobbly.
exactly, and I
Very
kind of
wavy.
can't do
They're
anything
very
about
wavy
them.
and
I don't
wobbly.
hate them. I like the ride, but I just hate how unstable they are. So I kind of just
Yeah, it makes you
yeah.
nervous.
So like it makes
you
me like white
uncomfortable.
knuckle the handles while I'm going up, but I'm not gonna
I've
do
been-
it. You know what I mean? There's a difference there.
Yeah. Oh no, I feel you. I am on the same wavelength as
Mm-hmm.
you. I've been on some of those like pedestrian suspension bridges that are like 100 feet.
If
in the
it's
air
like
out in
if it's like
Drumheller.
rickety as hell and it's made of rotting wood
Oh, it is.
and like and,
Oh, no,
and like
there's
and
steel
like
cables.
knotted monkey feces
there's-
along the
it
way, like I'm
feels
not
like-
going to do that, you know?
It feels like it's made out of fucking chicken wire and
Dreams,
Ethernet
right?
cables.
Like I don't mind doing those
It's something that miners put together 100
you know
years
those like
ago.
skywalk type things or like
Oh,
you're a
I love
tower, or
those.
like there's like glass underneath.
Yeah.
I don't hate that as much because I know it's like truly
It's super
engineered
sturdy.
to be safe, and like I don't care about that. But like if you get me on a really rickety ass bridge, then yeah, I'll probably just like shit myself easy.
So the difference between you and I is that you take the apparent engineering skills of the team who built it into account.
Mhm.
For me,
You're just
my
scared.
brain, the lizard
doesn't
part of my
remember
brain
that
is
engineers
just like,
exist.
oh, big high, me scare now.
Yeah,
So
so like you're like math and
the
science
ultimate.
doesn't exist. You're just like, this no good for me.
Have you seen the videos online of how like people will step into an elevator, but the floor is like a prank floor where it's an LCD TV?
Would you
that
just
falls
like
away?
fall back and cry? Would you just like
A little bit,
Yeah.
yes. And this is how I know. I'm pretty sure I've told you this story before about one time where I was playing VR chat.
Oh, yes.
And so I was playing VR chat. I just joined this world, and it was a nice snowy world with a radio tower. And I walk up to the radio tower, and I'm like, haha, this is a very nice, cute world. And a button at the bottom of the radio tower says teleport, and I'm like, what does this button do? I push the button, and it teleports me to the top of the radio tower.
oh no.
And so from your perspective, from the visual perspective, you are balancing on like a 1 square foot area, 300 feet up in the air. And
Your mind just lost
to
it.
keep in mind,
Like, you're like
this is VR
Yeah.
chat. This is VR chat. I am in my living room. I am beside my computer desk. I am wearing the probably the lowest resolution VR headset that has been the original Vive, the first gen Vive.
This story kills me every time.
And my brain just goes, what a fuck, 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 what a fuck. And I'm just mildly freaking out. I'm not saying anything. But what I have to do, I almost trembling, I just sit down
oh yeah.
on the floor and then take off the VR headset because I couldn't figure out how to get down from the tower.
That's pretty bad. I will say you're right. In contrast to you, I have
The
played
whole
I have
time
played
I
VR.
knew I was perfectly safe.
No, so I've played like VR, not VR chat, but like VR games where they do like, oh, it's the vertical game challenge thing where they like try to simulate the the heights, right? So I've played those, and I will say that while it's not that I don't feel uneasy at all, because there is monkey lizard brain going like, "Wee hi, hoo ha," like,
Exactly.
but I am like the he who brain is like, but I'm like, but the other part of my brain still exists, and I'm like, no, I'm in my living room, like I'm not actually afraid, and there's no real instability because there's no things like wind pushing at you or whatnot. So I can make it through those no problem.
Oh my god, you just gave me such.
But he who brain like does it's true that he who brain is really dumb.
You
It's-
just
and-
gave
and
me
wants
such
It's
to
the
get out,
monkey screaming in the background of your life. And so it's just a question about it's just the question of whether the human brain versus the monkey brain is screaming
True.
louder.
Oh my god, you just gave me such an evil thought of like, if I had known that Angelo was doing that and he was terrified, like what I should have done is just
Push you?
plugged in a fan.
True. The fan would have like
You were working at the time.
I know I wasn't there, but if
Dio was no, she was working from home at the time.
yeah, I was there, but I wasn't really like paying attention. So I just saw you sit down, and I was like, okay, whatever, like. Take it a sit, like no big deal. Like you could sit and play VR chat. But then he told me the story after, and so it just kills me because I don't have a fear of heights at all. Like I'm the person, I love the gondola at Banff. I've been
on the gondola at Banff. I like the enclosed one. That one's cool.
I love the open
the
one.
open seat ones.
I love
those
those.
ones are terrifying.
I love that. Oh my god, you'd hate a ski lift then for the same reason.
Yeah, it was basically.
I don't
a
mind
ski
ski
lift.
Yeah.
lifts.
So-
I hate gondolas.
but
It was really
gondolas
cool.
are worse, not because
But
they're
it was
like
really
like
scary.
enclosure is like whatever, but gondolas are worse because they typically go higher, and they will
Higher and wobblier.
yeah, and they'll actually go like across like horizontal terrain as well. Whereas, and I don't know why I don't like that more somehow, but like if it's swinging around, I don't know. I don't love it, but I'll go on them. Like
this
that's
is the thing.
there's no such thing for me as like it's too scary to do. That's not really a thing.
So
just
I
don't
love
know.
heights. I really want to. One thing I've been meaning to check out, and we are going to be going to Banff this weekend, so I don't know how many people are going to tolerate this. But I have wanted to go on the Skywalk. I haven't been on the completed Skywalk, which I'm really excited for. But I know Angelo doesn't like heights, and we have another friend who really, really is afraid of heights. So I might just be the lone idiot out on the Skywalk, having the time of my life, looking down through the glass and staring at the glacier like 50 feet below me, and everybody else is going to be holding onto the fence on the other side of the walkway.
Could very well be. Could very well be.
Could happen. I could potentially try it, but if you think I am white now,
you're gonna be a ghost. You're gonna be a
in time for
I'll
for
have
Halloween.
my Halloween costume ready.
Yeah. Where does all the blood go? Nobody know. But yeah. I guess quickly to wrap up here, because we were talking about heights, then we were talking about some video gaming version of heights, and then we can talk about video game real quick. A couple of things. Played some Overwatch 2 with you folks. It was nice.
Yeah, we did.
I have not played an Overwatch in a long time.
Indeed. That's been the biggest thing I've been enjoying. It's just the nostalgia of playing the game with friends I used to play the game with.
I do not care for their microtransaction model. It is worse than before. By a lot.
Oh yeah, it's
by a lot.
The only thing that's better about it now is you can choose what you get. You can choose what you want. The catch is that it's so much more expensive. It is just an upfront slap in the face.
It is so expensive and also so grindy that it's just
it's no bueno in that regard. But I hear that I did a little bit of reading up on, and it's like the new folks who have never played the old Overwatch and they don't have like an old Overwatch 1 login, they basically don't get all the characters to start. I was just like, oh, this is great. I could play as anybody, even though I'll only play as 4 characters. But it was a good time.
Yeah,
it was
like
a good
they
time.
have it's fun.
The game
but I'm
is still
definitely
there.
I will fully admit I am enjoying the nostalgia goggles more than I am enjoying anything else.
Yeah, the truth is like
I am enjoying the actual game.
The game is fine, but it's also like it's not fine enough that I'm gonna play solo.
It's not. It doesn't feel like 3 years worth of improvement.
No, it is Overwatch 1. It's not Overwatch 2. They're calling it Overwatch 2. It's Overwatch 1.
With some new heroes,
the
one
big
less
patch.
tank, and some maps.
You know what's kind of funny? If they kept the Overwatch 1 name, if they didn't change the name, they legally could have kept loot boxes in it. Because they called it Overwatch 2, if they kept loot boxes in the game, there are multiple countries in the EU where they could not legally launch the
Interesting.
game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Like I don't know how like actually after our main group stopped playing, and then Angelo and I were still on, and we played a little bit, and we were talking about it. And then Angelo bought a battle pass, and I don't have a battle pass because I just straight up said, like, this is fun. I still don't know how much I'm going to play it.
Fair.
But it's
Very
free.
fair.
This one's free anyway.
It's
I bought the
free.
first one. Whatever.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. It was it's good. It's good to have.
But I'm enjoying the nostalgia experience. And that's enough for me for now.
Nostalgia being like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it is only 5-year-old nostalgia, but it's nostalgia of the before times.
Also
know?
true.
Yes. And this episode might seem nostalgic to you, but don't worry, there's another free episode, a free to listen episode next
Buy
week.
the battle pass.
Yeah, don't forget
The
to
season
purchase
pass
your
for-
Otafest podcast season pass. Your battle pass includes
Actually,
Access.
you can get the Otafest early access pass, can't you? Like the $5 off.
We
or
sure
whatever.
do. We still sell in early bird
yeah.
passes. We don't advertise it that much, not because we don't want people taking advantage of it. We just don't talk about it that much.
It's just early.
Yeah. It's just,
But yeah,
go on
yeah, you can get your
Otafest.com
early bird pass.
and register now, and you get like $5 at least off of your pass. I'm pretty sure. So
That's the Otafest Battle Pass. Just buy the
no.
pass.
I was about to say not to be confused with your Otafest podcast battle pass that you can purchase for 4 installments of $99.99 USD.
yeah.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
For legal reasons, this is goodbye.
Fare thee well.
Good night.
Set